Often, when people think about design, they think about the function that an object might have, whether it be a real world or a digital object. Now, obviously, function is important. If the object cannot carry out its desired function, then it has fundamentally failed. Yet the world is full of objects that do carry out their desired function, but are frustrating to use, not pleasing to look at, or prone to improper use. Form should follow function. Interacting with a thing should elicit a positive emotional response. Have you ever pulled a door handle that says push underneath? At some level, you probably felt a bit stupid. We've all done it. But what if I told you it wasn't your fault? The door handle was invented to pull. If the door only pushes, why put a giant handle that just screams pull me above it? Maybe it should just have had a push plate on it. In fact, not 20 feet away from me right now is a door that does just that. It has a pull handle directly above a plate that says push. And everybody who walks through the door for the first time gets caught out by this. They pull when they should push. And when you draw someone's attention to what is actually in place, there's often a sigh of relief on their part. They might have felt slightly embarrassed by not being able to open the door to a place of learning and experimentation. They experienced a negative emotional response to that interaction. Okay, let's get some terminology out of the way. User experience refers to the overall effect on a person when interacting with something. This can be positive, negative, neutral, and all points in between. User experience design refers to the discipline of ensuring that a product not only works, but is intuitive, simple, and enjoyable to use. User-centered design is a defined process used to achieve a positive user experience. User experience design is what you do to make sure that that's a positive emotional experience. And user-centered design is a process that you can follow to make sure users enjoy using your product again and again. User experience design must come into play at the beginning of a product's life cycle, not tacked on near the end. For our purposes, we're going to focus on generating positive user experiences when interacting with web applications. So how will attention to user experience benefit your work as a web developer? Well, every year, thousands of applications and products are brought to market. That's a lot of competition. In order to rise above the noise and flourish, you need to take every advantage you can to attract and retain a healthy user base. And first impressions count. Public users have zero tolerance for poor experiences. Also, poor experiences can reduce productivity amongst people who need to use a product as part of their daily work. The question users ask when encountering a product is, does this fit my needs? But at a subliminal level, they're asking additional questions such as, do I like this place? Do I like being in here? Is it a place I want to return to? These questions are often answered within seconds. And the goal of UX is to ensure that the answer is yes every time. In addition to a product's users, the product's owners are also looking for value. They ask questions like, what do I get in return for this investment? Will I get positive reactions from my users? Will this lead to more sales? Will I get better conversions? Can I create an established brand with added authority? Can I increase traffic? In this lesson, we'll look at the user-centered design process that underpins user experience design. Proposed by Jesse James Garrett, this process is represented as 5 levels of activity called planes. These planes and their concerns are as follows. The strategy plane. What are you aiming to achieve in the first place and for whom? The scope plane. Which features, based on information from the strategy plane, do you want to include in your design? What's on the table for a production release and what's not, at least for now? The structure plane. How is the information structured and how is it logically grouped? The skeleton plane. How will our information be represented and how will the user navigate through the information and the features? And finally, the surface plane. What will the finished product look like? What colors, typography, and design elements will we use?